Hey there guys, this is Mike Kim. Welcome back to my Diablo 3 channel. I am still in the Diablo 3 beta and it's coming soon, second quarter according to their investors announcement. What I'm going to be talking about here today is the melee wizard. As you can see, I have magic weapon which increases my physical damage of my weapon by 15% if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that for you. Yes, increases my physical damage of my weapon by 15% for 2 minutes. I'm using the Spectral Blade, which summons a Spectral Blade that strikes all enemies in my path for 105% weapon damage. Wave of Force, which explodes a wave of pure energy that knocks back projectiles and enemies, as well as deal 350% weapon damage as physical and slows them down for 50%. My final ability is Ice Armor. Surround myself in Barrier of Ice, causing 14% weapon damage as cold to melee attackers, chilling them for 2 seconds and the buff itself lasts for 2 minutes. When it says chill them, it actually reduces the attack speed and movement speed at the same time. So it's very useful, especially if you intend to get hit very often as a melee wizard. Now, one thing you guys need to know, if you do intend to run with a melee wizard in launch, which I might actually do because I find it a very fresh way of starting a new game, is that the melee wizard is not built to stay up front. You're probably not going to be carrying a wand because their damage per second as well as low and high end damage is not very high. As you can see, this one is Saber of Flame. 17.5 damage per second. It only does 4 to 9 damage, but their attacks per second is 1.4, which is quite significant because that also increases the amount of spectral blades you can throw out per second. Another thing you need to take note is that it has 4 to 8 fire damage on it. That also applies to spectral blade, which I'll show you in a minute. And I'm also carrying a shield, which has a 20% chance to block, 6 to 10 damage block amount, regenerates my life by 1 per second, and also deals melee 2 damage per hit to melee attackers. What this does is that it increases my survivability simply because I have a shield which increases my armor by 20, which is quite significant. This 20 armor is only at level 12. I'm going to be saying this right now. I'm calling it that shields later on are going to have a heck of a lot of armor. From what I understand, one shield alone could have enough armor to cover every piece that a wizard has at later games. Alright, so this is a significant amount of your survivability right here. What I wanted to show you earlier is that the Spectral Blade, the 4 to 8 fire damage actually transfers to the enemy as well when you're using Spectral Blade. For example, here you'll see that the enemy is burning. Even though I'm not physically using my weapon to hit him, I am still burning the enemies simply by hitting them with my Spectral Blade. Now this is quite a discovery for me because I thought that Spectral Blade was just another spell that was that used my weapon damage, like Blizzard said. They wanted to transfer all weapon damage to spells. That means if your weapon, your melee weapon had more damage on it, it would also directly affect the amount of damage your spells would deal when you cast them. This was surprising to me because I didn't think the effects from the item itself would transfer. As you can see, this enemy corpse is burning. I did not think that the stats from the 4 to 8 fire damage would transfer to Spectral Blade, but it did. So as I mentioned earlier, if you do consider playing a melee wizard, you'll want to take into consideration that you want to be able to survive, and that will mean that the way you stat yourself will be more towards survivability. I know that's not typical for a melee wizard, as they will probably want to be a lot of the time in most games that I've played, a wizard is a glass cannon that deals a lot of damage from afar. So in Blizzard's case, they've made it viable, and I intend to test this out when the game launches. So anyway, I'll see you for the next video. Thank you very much.